afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nakita as the first speaker from government team with Motion. This house believes that the LGBTQAI+ movement should enter reinterpreting religious in its public agenda. First of all, let me define the motion. LGBTQ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, while the plus sign in LGBTQ+ is to recognize sexual orientation and gender identify without boundaries. And what's the means of the agenda? Gay agenda or homosexual agenda are terms used by some religious groups as a way to describe advocacy for cultural acceptance and normalization of non-heterosexual sexual orientation and relationship. The background here is, in a world that is becoming increasingly diverse and inclusive, it is crucial for social movement to recognize the importance of religious pluralism and strive for harmony among all members of society, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identify. And the status quo right now is, the view of religious people towards LGBTQAI+ people are also quite the opposite. The problem here is, religious people view and thought on LGBTQAI+ are out of line. So our goal is we want to stop discrimination in LGBTQAI+ people that comes from the bad assumption of society by redefining religion to society and reinterpreting religion on its agenda. Before we're going to my argument, let me tell you the actor here. First, the LGBTQAI. They are LGBTQAI people who will carry out their agenda, and second, the society and religious people who will change and reinterpret the religion around them so that it can be in line with its agenda. Move to my argument. Why LGBTQAI+ movement centering reinterpretation religious in its public agenda is something urgent, religion has always played a significant role in shaping societal norms and values. It has influenced the way people perceive and understand the world around them. However, it is important to acknowledge that interpretation of religious texts and teaching have evolved over time. We recognize that religion is not a monolithic entity. It is a dynamic force that can adapt to the changing needs and aspirations of its followers. It should be justified because LGBTQAI+ people have long faced discrimination, exclusions, and stigmatizations within religious contexts. Many religious texts has been used to justify prejudice, hate, and even violence against them. However, it is not the purpose of our motion to denigrate or undermine any religion. Instead, we believe that the LGBTQAI+ movement should actively engage with religious community to foster understanding, promote empathy and equality, and also challenge these discriminatory interpretations of religious teaching. Assuming that they already accepted in society, centralization of the reinterpretation of religions in the LGBTQAI+ movement's public agenda will contribute to fostering dialogue and understanding between religious communities and the queer community. By engaging in conversation, hosting interfaith dialogues, and initiating respectful exchange, we can bridge the gap between differing perspectives. This will promote mutual understanding and create space for the LGBTQAI+ community within religious communities. And then, centering religious reinterpretation within the LGBTQAI+ movement agenda will help combat the misrepresentations and misunderstanding of religious teachings that contribute to discrimination. By actively engaging in this process, we can counter the false perception that religion and LGBTQAI+ rights are inherently incompatible. We can demonstrate that religious faith can coexist with inclusive and affirming values, fostering a sense of belonging and acceptance within the queer community. Society usually only understands from one point of view, or what is used here is their heterosexual point of view. In fact, the LGBT themselves essentially have the right to determine what their religion is like, because to know God cannot be made as general as possible in one format, but depart from each heart and conscience to know who my God really is. So far, there has been a monopoly on the interpretation of heterosexual people towards LGBT. First, related to LGBT are cleared up without any clarification, without review, without any detailed understanding of LGBT itself. So, we want to straighten out and reinterpret religion on it. There is a view that religious freedom should be absolute and that religious texts should be interpreted strictly as written. However, we must remember that religious freedom does not give permission to discriminate against or violate the rights of others, especially how LGBTQAI+ people often feel being treated differently from other or from heterosexual. The reinterpretation of religion's texts by religious communities should be an ongoing process to adapt to changing social contexts and promote equality and justice. Going into my argument, let me conclude in a few points. First, centering the reinterpretation of religion in the LGBTQAI+ movement public agenda is something urgent and should be justified because there are many misperceptions that result in problem between the two, so we want to straighten out. Second, by centering the reinterpretation of religion in its public agenda, the LGBTQAI+ movement can foster dialogue, challenge discriminatory interpretation, and promote understanding, equality, and acceptance within religious communities. So, we can achieve our goal to reduce or even to stop discrimination in LGBTQAI+ people that comes from the bad assumption of society by redefining religion to society rate and reinterpretation religion on its agenda. We propose the motion.